Hello, everyone, and welcome to Makeover Monday, Week 30, 2023, Watch Me Viz. I am your host, Andy Kriebel. I hope everybody is doing well this week. I have had a wonderful weekend celebrating my 50th birthday, and here we go. Sorry. And yeah, I hope everybody's had a good week. And let's go ahead and hop into this week's data set. So let me show the viz here. There we go. So if somebody on the stream could leave a comment and just let me know that you can see everything okay, that would be great. I will go ahead and get started. And I can see your comments. So if you have anything to say, you want to share, feel free to leave a comment in the okay, we missed you yesterday. Yes, Rahul, I am just fine. I had family in town, so that's why I didn't do this yesterday, but thank you for asking. Okay, so this week we are looking at Arctic sea ice extent. Now, this is actually a data set that we did many years ago. Even I did this data set, and what I found very interesting at the time was how it's a relatively simple data set. You have basically a date and a temperature, and there must have been, and you would think, given that there's only two columns, that it would be, incredibly difficult to visualize that data, and we wouldn't get much variety. But I was very pleasantly surprised that we saw probably hundreds of different visualizations. It was really, really neat. So if you are looking for any kind of inspiration or anything, feel free to look back at past Makeover Mondays and from a few years ago, and that'll give you some ideas. Actually, also, there is, bear with me for 1 second. Sorry, normally I have a virtual screen or a virtual background, but I don't today because I've moved my desk around in the room. But in the Makeover Monday book, and if you haven't bought this yet, it's available on Amazon. Let me go here. The Makeover Monday book. I do a makeover in here starting on page. Where is it here? Okay, I think, is this it here? Yeah, starting in chapter 12, starting on page 399, it's a chapter on using context in data visualization, and I actually go through the same exact data set. So maybe what I could do is show you what I did there, and then we could take a look and see what else we can do. So I'm going to actually leave the book here so I don't forget what to do, and I will stick a piece of paper in it. Question for those of you on here, actually, that'd be the only people that are on here. When you read a book and you see something that you want to remember, do you write in the book? Do you dog ear the page, like bend down the corner of the page? Or do you stick a piece of paper in there? How do you mark up, or do you even mark up a book? I remember telling Eva one time to go ahead and write in a book, and she was outraged that you would actually write in a book, but now she does it. So anyway, over here on the screen, we can see it's a really interesting article and quite sad as well. So this is the data set that we're looking at. So these are the average global temperatures for each of the years. And we see we have the 1979 to 2008 mean. So that's kind of the comparison that we will go with. So anyway, there's lots of different visualizations on here. And no writing in the book, but little sticky notes. Okay, sticky notes are good. Yeah, so yeah, I guess sticky notes, you can have a little tab sticking out the side. Notes outside the book in my phone. Okay, Anne, well, here's a question for you. How do you then have to have two things out? You have to have your phone out and the book out. Why not just one? Okay, interesting conversation. And then somebody on YouTube has a question. When you upload video for drill down 3-level, I don't have any idea what your question means. Kakang, I don't have any idea what your question means. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so the data set that we're looking at, so let me go back to the Makeover Monday website. I think the original visualizations are quite fantastic, actually. So in the original data set, we have data for both the, let me see here. So data, we have data for the ice extents for both the northern and southern hemisphere. So I'm going to actually merge them together and see what we can do. So let me pull up Tableau and click on more to get my data. And let's see, make over Monday, data 2023. And I'll just start with the northern hemisphere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the southern hemisphere on top of that to make a union. And we should just see, yes, we still see the same number of the same columns. That didn't seem to work very well. Convert to union. And then that was interesting. It just replaced it instead of creating the union. Okay, so now we have the northern or southern hemisphere. So what I'm going to do is in this column, I'm going to actually rename these. So NSCS extent. So I'm just going to rename this one northern hemisphere. Hemisphere. I don't know why that's being such a difficult word to type. Southern hemisphere. And then I'm going to rename the field hemisphere. Okay, the source data column I don't need, so I'm going to hide that. And then I can take these three fields, year, month, and day, and convert those into a date field. So I'm going to create a calculated field. I'm going to call this my my date. And I'm going to use the make date function. And first I have to pass to it the year, and then the month, and then the day. So this is daily CI6 extents. This is quite detailed data. Okay, so let's go over to the data set. And year, month, and day, Tableau put down here as measures because it read them in as numbers and it thinks they should be counted. So that's why I put them down there. But I can start with this year field. So let me make this continuous. And the extent field here. So actually, I'm going to default this to median. Because I believe in the original visualization, if I go back here, if I go back to this one here, so this is the, okay, so it doesn't, this is by day. Looks like it's by day. Okay, so this is comparing the months by day. Okay, so let me just try to reproduce what they have here. So I'm going to right click and drag the date field in, and I'm going to choose month. No, wait, what is it here? Let me go back. So going across the bottom is the months, and then these are the years. Okay, so we're going to do month. Let's make it fit entire view. Hide the field headers. Okay, and then we want to put the year field onto detail. So this will give us a mark for each year, for each month. And then we want the extent on the rows. And if I go back again, so 0, 5, 20. Okay, so let me go back. And let's see, it shouldn't be a sum. That's not right. Average. Okay, so something's not quite right here. Oh, maybe this is actually day. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is daily. Okay, so I need to go back. Okay, what's the easiest way for me to do this? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I need this to be month and day. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a calculated field that is my day of year. And this is going to return a number from 1 to 366. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do date part, day of year, and then of my date field. Okay. And let's make that discrete. Sorry, make it a dimension and then make it continuous. So if I drag that here, there we go. So that looks better. So if I flip back over to theirs, We still get a strange number here though. So 2023, it looks like it's around 14. Okay, so let me show the highlighter. So that's, okay, so what's going on here? Oh, I need to split it up by hemisphere, duh. So this is Antarctic. Okay, so I need southern hemisphere. Again, I'm just trying to reproduce the original so I can make sense of it. Okay, that looks better. Right. Okay, so now we've basically reproduced the original. And this is color-coded in like a light blue shade. Okay, so let's go back. And we're going to put the... let's put that onto color. And then we want to reverse the colors. Okay, how does that compare? Oh, dang it. And then when they hover over, they highlight one. Okay. Oh, I see. So it looks like these are actually, they're colored by year, not by temperature. Okay. So let me go back. So get rid of that. And let's put this on color. Oops. And let's make this continuous. Okay. Okay, that doesn't look right either. Okay, I'm not quite sure how they did the colors. That's all right. So let's see here. What kind of questions? Don't forget, if you have any questions, any idea why the date doesn't show up by default? It's in the CSV, just curious. So Matt, the CSV is actually not in, or the date is not in the CSV. You have year, month, and day, but I didn't see a date field in there. Okay. So bookmarked all of the above. Okay. Anyway, so this is the southern hemisphere. We could maybe swap them, and you'll see they're like they almost mirror each other. All right, so let me go then and look through what I built previously. So I'm going to bring out the book because I don't remember. So I looked at, this is, okay, so I had years going across the view. Come on, mouse. And now my mouse has decided to die. Oh, there it goes. That's connected again. Okay, so let's just put the year here, continuous. And then I want to put the month onto detail. And I'm going to look at the northern hemisphere and the ice extent. And then we want to look at the change from 1980. Okay, so we want to, in my years, I'm going to and then I'm going to look at add table calculation, difference from relative to 1980. Okay, there we go. So now we're looking at the difference in the Arctic ice extent. What is my red line here? Okay, and I don't think so I probably also, actually I should make this a median. Default properties, aggregation, median. Okay, now I also want to include in here a metric for the overall median. So I'm going to duplicate this field, get rid of the month. And now if I make this a dual axis and synchronize, this axis here, I want to make this maybe a black line. And then let's turn the label on the end of the line. Okay. And I want the little dot on the end, so I'm going to do min-max year label. There we go. Okay, and then I want this on the label. So 8.11. What did I do there? Median extent. That's not right. 0.811. Well, that might be right. So if I look at 20. Oh, I looked at it as a percent difference. Okay, so let me change this. Okay, so now if I go here, my median is 12% in, I don't know, maybe it is 2017. Okay, yeah, so this looks right now. Okay, so then what I could do over here is I'm going to maybe create a, let's go ahead and create a set. So let's create a custom date. Let's call this one month. I'm creating this custom date because I want to create a set of months. I want to create a set based on the month field, I'll show you in a second. So if I create that, if I try to create a set off of this date field, so let's create a set. And then so we see each individual day, which isn't what we want. We want to see, but if I create a set off of this field now, you'll see I have just the names of the months. So that's the difference. And that's why you would create a custom date, because now I can control which items are listed in the set. Would it be too much information to have both the northern and southern hemisphere in the same graph? No, it wouldn't, Lisa. I just, we can take a look at that in a minute. I'm trying to, yeah, it's a good question. We'll come back to that. Okay, so January. And then I want to, on this marks card, I want to put that one color. And I want to set this one to red. Actually, let me do something like that. And then let's make the other ones maybe light gray. Okay, so something like that. And then on the labels, I want to label the end of the line, but for only the red one. So to do that, I'm going to need to create a calculated field. So let's say value for selected month. So if month set, then I want to return the median, the ice extent. And okay, and then let's drag that onto the label, do the median. And then I need to change this to be our table calculation. So percent difference from prior to 1980. This doesn't really matter. For each month relative to 1980. Okay. Close that. And now on our label, min-max year. Okay, so now we can see the difference between the two. Okay, good. So that works out great. Let's remove this from the tooltip and remove that one from the tooltip. We can hide this axis. We'll probably should leave the formatting because we all know that will be a mess. So let's do a bit of axis cleanup here. So tick marks fixed. We're going to start at 1980 and go every maybe 5 years. Okay, that looks good. Let's get rid of the title while we're here. Okay. Now what we could do is we could, well, okay, I'll come back to it because I need to probably format these numbers, but I can do that. I can do that at the end if we decide to go with this graph. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an action that allows me to basically just update the month when it's picked. So update month set on select. I only want to do single select. I only want them to be able to control one at a time. Okay. Okay. I can do an index number and base year is 1980. Okay. And let's see. So we want clearing the selection, we'll keep the value. And then let's say okay. And now when I click, it didn't do anything. Oh, I didn't tell which set to update. Worksheet actions. Tell which set to update. And it looks like that set is only based on the northern hemisphere. Or no, it's not. Month set, target set. Field missing on sheet 2. Oh, okay, that's fine. So what I need to do is this field has to be here instead. There we go. So now that line moves and we can see the comparisons between them. Now I need to kind of do the de-highlighting. So let's call this dummy. And we're going to put this on detail for the all marks card. And then up here on the highlighter, we want to pick dummy. And I think that will work. Yeah, there we go. So now it does kind of stay highlighted because it's got the sort of bright line around it. Let's see if we can get rid of that. If I change the mark type to a line, can I then, okay, I can't get rid of the shadow. We could make that a, yeah. So maybe the one for the overall number, sorry, the median for all of the months should be maybe that kind of dashed line. I think I like the look of that. Okay, let's undo that. And then this one, maybe we could, oh, no, that does not look good. Okay, so we'll leave that as a solid line, but have the black one as a dashed line. So let's do a bit of formatting now. So let's format this field. Actually, I'm just going to save this field. And we'll call this percent change. What did I call it in here? Versus 1980. Okay. And then we need to format this field. Oh, actually, I could do it here. So default properties, number format. And I want to have a plus on the positive, semicolon minus 0% on the negative. Okay, and then I want to format the view and go to my pane. And I want this to have a different format. So I want this to be plus 0.0%, semicolon minus 0.0%. And then that did not change my number. Ah, okay, that's because I need to change it here. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Minus, okay, so then this field. Okay, format. Something like that. We can now, what else did I do? I had it match the mark labels, so label, font, match the mark color. Let's make them maybe some medium and 10. Okay, so now we got something like that. I think that looks pretty good. All right. Okay. So we could even, we should probably rename this change in sea ice extent. Versus 1980. Right, so now, again, I'm just going to, hopefully this is useful for me to just keep going through this rebuild of what I did before. We'll look at some other graphs in a minute, but I want to show you how, how we could add a bit of context to this. So if I were to throw this on a dashboard, so let me just grab this. I know I usually don't build a dashboard this way, but I'm just doing it for informational purposes. What I would want to do is have something in here that gives us the big number. So let me see. What did I do here? What did I say? Chapter 12. I lost my spot. Sorry. Okay. Now my book isn't going to stay open. Okay. Okay, I think I'll just leave it there for now, and let's maybe look at building some other visuals. So some of the other things we could look at then are maybe we could look at the year, and then maybe the month, and look at the let's put the hemisphere. Let's maybe just put it there for now. Fit width, and let's put the sea ice extent onto color. And of course, we would expect to see this, right? Because the summer and winter months are changing. What year is this? 78, 79. So year, let's filter. Right. So we could maybe change this to, let's edit this calculation year hemisphere relative to 79. So this is, yes, so you can see in the northern hemisphere, there's a much bigger drop, or you see, let me see if I can draw this here. So this block here shows us that there's been a really huge impact, a really large decrease in sea ice extent in the summer months since, what about 2000, or no, probably about 2010. And in the Antarctic, we see just kind of wrong. In the Antarctic, we see it more recently, but it's also going for about half the year. But in the northern hemisphere, almost everything is down versus 1979. So that's not very good. If I go back to the original, so this is, yes, we created that. What else could we do? So this is that's air temperatures. Right, okay. So not really much else to show there. So that'd be one way to compare the northern and southern hemispheres. We could look at, let's maybe look at a bit of seasonality. So I'm going to drag the month here, the year here. So I'm flipping the year and the month, and the extent I want to put here. And I want this to be discontinuous. So I should turn it into a line, hopefully. Continuous. There we go. And then what I could do is I could bring on my an average line for each table. Pane, there we go. So something like that. So now that gives us our averages. So our sea ice extent is declining across the years. So this is called a cycle plot. See, like bicycle, but cycle plot. So it's telling us which the line is looking at the overall average across the period, but maybe that should be, instead of that, it should be a median. Let's edit this. make it a median, no label. And then let's maybe make them a dashed line. Maybe a bit thinner. No, let's do it like that. I'll take the recalculate. So you would do something like this for a cycle plot. So this is showing you, so for example, if I look at October's here, we're seeing a big decline in sea ice extent within, so that's the easiest way to explain this. So a cycle plot, we're looking at how year-over-year change within a particular month. So this is looking at all of this. So this is kind of like filtering down to just October, and then looking at the change, or not the change, the values per year with comparing the different October. So like comparing October 2023 to October of 2022, et cetera. I don't know if that makes sense or not. There's much better explanations available. But I would probably want to then split this up by hemisphere. And we get something like that, right? So northern and southern hemispheres. And they mirror each other, which is what you would expect. Okay, so let's look at year and look at, so if I go back, what was the other one here? So this one. So this is looking at a 1971 to 2008 baseline, which we do not have. So that doesn't really help us much. Okay, let's just look at this here. And then let's look at the percent difference. So it's fluctuating. Let me put hemisphere here. Okay, so that doesn't tell us much, right? Compute using table across relative percent difference. Okay. I was hoping for some sort of pattern here, but maybe we could look at it by year and month instead. And then I could put this value also onto color. What's this telling me? So these must be the summer months, right? Yeah. What it does show me is how the summer, yeah. So we are getting a large increase in some of the winter months. Southern. Okay, still nothing particularly interesting. What is a way that I can look at this again? Oh, what is it called? What's the name of the page? Maybe it's Blanc. Trying to find the data set. Where is it? Okay. Maybe it wasn't in 2017. Oh, here we go. Okay, so week 15 of 2018. So Blanc. This might take me a minute. even I used to go through and pick favorites every week, which people seem to really like. This might take me a minute. Okay, here we go. So these are some of the visualizations people have created before. Yeah, so this is kind of the heat map that I looked at earlier. This sort of heat map. So let me focus on just the northern hemisphere. And if I swap, oh, come on. If I make this, right, not quite sure. We don't see it as much here. Oh, this is looking at the percent change though. Let's look at the, and let's make this a 2-color palette. Let's see, but it's hard for me to tell. It looks like he's just using the median, or sorry, the midpoint, center. And then it's a red to blue palette. I want to reverse. Make this maybe a lighter blue. Oh, that's not right. I think I've got these backwards on reverse. There we go. So something like that. I think that's pretty similar. Yeah, so we have blue on the outside, red on the inside. That's relatively similar. If I duplicate that and then look at this one is, so the gray versus the blue is really interesting. So if I go back here and let's make this the, so this one is, this is going to be the blue, and this one is going to be gray. Hopefully it didn't affect this one. Okay. So that's kind of similar to what this one is. Now, what else do we have? Yeah, so we looked at that. This one's pretty cool. LM7, who still works on this every single week. Heidi. What are some other ones we like here? Sean Miller. Yearly maximum, yearly. Okay, this might be interesting to do. Yearly max versus yearly min. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So let's bring in the year. What am I trying to do here? Make this continuous. And then we want to have, oh, what the heck? I want to just flip over. Okay, so yearly max, yearly minimums. Okay, so I want to find the max and the min for each year. Okay, so let's say max per year. So I want to say fixed on the year field. I'm going to get the max of my extent. And then let's duplicate that and edit min per year. Oh, this one I probably, yeah. Where is it here? All right, so now I want to put in the hemisphere, but I want to make sure I add this to context so that the filter occurs. Putting this in context makes the filter occur before the level of detail expression is calculated. I did a video, I think last week or the week before, 2 weeks ago, about context filtering and different use cases for when you would do that. And this is one of those examples. So if I do my max per year and my min per year here, then what I want to do is shade between the two. Okay, so we got that, the min. Okay, and then we want to shade between the two. So to do the shading, I need to duplicate this. Is that right? Let's see. Pretty sure. So let me change my colors. Go with some blues here. So let's do the max. It's like that, min like that. And let's duplicate this. And we want this to be an area chart instead. Okay. Okay, so really what I want to do is I want to, if I make this a dual axis, and then synchronize. That's not right. Okay, so I want to do, oh gosh, I know I've done this before. So max per year minus min per year. Oh wait, this should be, yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then I want to put, oh gosh, how do I do this? So on this shelf, I don't want all three of them though. See, now I'm getting the shading in between the two, which is what I want. No, that's not right either, is it? So I want it to be something like that. Oh, how do I do this? Oh, I forget how to do it. Because I can't exclude, because that then gets rid of the, because if I hide it, it goes away. So that's sort of what I'm going for. That gives us this difference here. Okay, I don't like that. It's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So let's go back to here and see what else we liked. So this one. This is really neat if somebody wants to build the timeline. This is pretty cool. This one here on the upper left by LM7. Okay, so this is looking at, so that's the median Arctic sea ice. This is every day within the year. Okay, so we should be able to rebuild that one. So we want to look at the year, and what does every month represent here? Click on with the highlight. Okay. So let's put day of year on detail, and then ice extent on rows. And we want to make this circles. Okay. Yes, this is good. So I'm just going to jitter these marks. And then let me make these A bit more transparent, a bit smaller. Oops. Okay, so now if I put in, let's see, how is this done again? So if I were to look at this, I think that each one of these is probably a day. Click on the month to highlight its distribution. Okay. Yes, these are each days. If I click on a month, it highlights that month. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I could then maybe use my month set again. How can I do this? Month onto detail, and then month set onto color. And let's make this an index instead. No, I don't like that. I'll go back to the random. Okay. So we could do the worksheet action here. And we could just apply this to both sheets. Let's see. Now let's do it again. So change set. So update month set jitter. Now I think I can reuse this one. So let's edit this and let's make this. We want to do, oh shoot. So sheet 2 and sheet 8. So let me put my dummy on here again. Highlight my dummy. So this shows the distribute. So this is highlighting the months as we go across. So that's pretty similar to that. Let's see, what does this do here? So independent, it's fine. No. Uniform, I want this to go from there we go, minus 0.2 to 1.2. Okay, so that gives us something like that one, which is okay. We looked at that one. Okay, so this is just looking at the difference from the median. Okay, so this is just a small multiple line chart. So that one's pretty easy to understand. Okay, so this is looking at every day. So this is similar to the other heat map. Where's that other heat map? Okay, let's just rebuild it. So we've got year across the top. And then, oh, sorry, year down the bottom, month across, and day within the month. Okay. Month across the top, and then day within the month. Okay. And then we just have the Okay, CIS extent on color. Okay, to color. Oh, 1 second, I have to take this call. Hello? Yes. 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 She's fine. She's in some pain, but doing okay. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Likely to have a distal bone fracture to the great toe,
Mm-hmm.
and a base of proximal phalanx to the second toe.
Okay.
And a small avulsion fracture to the talus.
Okay.
Probably in a mood boot.
Yes.
Okay. She has to keep that on for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. But you think she's going to America soon? She could come in for some tips.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, because she's got all those other medicines, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Okay. What time? Okay. Okay. Sounds good. All right. And what was the name of the thing you're going to prescribe her? How do you tin? Like tin as in like the metal? Oh. All right. Okay. I'm close enough to write it down. Okay. I'll let her know. All right. Thank you. All right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for calling. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Sorry about that. My mom fell down the stairs on Saturday. So I had to take her to the hospital yesterday, and that was the hospital calling back. But she's okay. Okay. So if I look at, let me go back to this one here. How did they do this? So let's go back. And if I look at this one, are you finding it useful, by the way, for me to rebuild these this way? Or are you, I like, this is one thing I really encourage people to do, is to take visualizations they like and try to rebuild them. It's a really, really useful thing to do. So each of these is a day. Oh, I see what they did here, I think. Right. Okay. And then this is like purplish color. It doesn't really matter. I'll just choose that. Okay. And then this should be a lighter gray. Right. So it looks like we only have like good daily data starting in 1988. So I'm going to exclude these years. But then I think what's happening here, so let me get rid of this. I think what's happening here is this is, I should say, okay, let's make this day. No, that's not right either. It looks like these are, see, it's kind of looks like it's continuous. So May, oh, you know what? Maybe that's day of year. Let's try it that way. Let's try our. So it's going to give me the same look. Okay, but let me get rid of that. Ah, there we go. So that's a bit better. The trick now is getting the labels on there. If we do date onto detail. So now we get our individual dates. So that looks more like the one they created. But I can't increase the size anymore. So how else would I do that? What if I make them squares, maybe? That looks a bit more like it. So let me format the view and make this, get rid of my, I don't have any row or column dividers. They're still humongous squares. Wonder how they did that. Okay, so what I would do if I was going to continue with this is I would download the workbook probably. To see, these look like Gantt bars to me based on the size of them. What I don't see is how they got them to squish together so well. If I go back and then maybe I'll switch this back to a Gantt bar. Maybe just make it a bar. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the trick. Let's just make it a bar. And then maybe I can switch this back to month. Oops. And then day. Okay, so that doesn't work. So again, something like that. Okay, so that's kind of that one, not quite. And then we looked at that one. That's one we just looked at. Any other ones that might be interesting? How about this one? Let's see what Heidi did here. So this is month over month for the past 30 years. Okay, so let's see if we can rebuild this one. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Doctor calling back. Hello. Yes, it's Andy. Okay. 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 Okay, great. Okay, so behind the A&E. Okay, great. All right, and that's at Kremlington. Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye. Okay, doctor's calls should be reduced now. Okay. So let's look at, I'm just going to look at Heidi's here. So she had essentially the month. And then, yes, it was kind of like this cycle plot again. Extent, and then these were bars. But then she split it up into small multiples. So if I go back, yeah, each of these is, yeah, okay. So each of these is a month, and then these are individual years. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to need to go back to my handy dandy notes for, what's it called? Just give me 1 second. I need to find my tips here. Time series, radar chart. Okay, here we go. So I think I do this chart almost every single week now. Where I do these sort of palette charts. So let me create a new calculated field. Right, so we want to move the year field to detail. And we want to have columns, rows, and then create a custom date, place custom columns, measure. I don't have that. So I should probably filter this to a single hemisphere for now. Configure table calcs, dimension and date net order. Okay. Dimension and date in order. Oh, I think I got this backwards. What am I doing wrong? Hang on one second. I'm going to create a custom date, place custom date on columns, measure on rows, dimension on detail. Dimension and date. Dimension. The date. Dimension. Okay, there we go. That's better. Right. So if we make this fit entire view, we can see the change. Let's drag the, where is my extent? There we go. So colors. And we could maybe change this. So let's go back to Heidi's. So she's just using, so comparing to the 30-year average. So we could, yeah, that's not going to help us in what we're trying to do. So let's make this a red to blue. Like that. Yes, we get something like that. So that'd be the small multiples kind of view. All right, so that's not kind of profound either. The other thing, some other ideas for you. So you could build something like this. I've built it before, but I don't remember how to build it. And then I guess it's kind of like a radar chart. How would I do a radar chart? I've got some notes for that as well. Radar chart. So okay. Okay, maybe we'll try the radar chart and let's see what happens, if you don't mind. I'm not getting very far at building something to actually publish, but let's not worry about that. So I'm going to create a new calculated field. This is going to be my angle. So this would be distance from center is my, I think this is good. Okay, yeah, this isn't going to work. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the radar chart. You could do a sunburst chart or starburst chart. That might be useful as well. You have to duplicate the data for that. I think if I go back to, let's see. So let me see what I did originally. Where is it here? let's see, Arctic. Yeah, so this is the one I was trying to rebuild. Okay, so this is a radial chart. I don't even remember how I did that. Okay, so I did all of it in yeah, that's not a good use, not a good type of data visualization. What other ideas could we come up with? If I go back to this, and what if I make this, so that's our month. And if I make this day of year instead. And so that looks a bit more interesting, at least. The bars are really fat. Still overlap. This is weird how it's overlapping like this. Why would it do that? Looks like we've got two sets of bars here. Same thing here. That's very strange. Okay. What else could we do? What have I done here so far? So that this is day of year, hemisphere. We could put what if we duplicate this and we do it by month instead of day of year? Yes, that's not interesting. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. And I could do this again. Let's make this a median. And let's get rid of that and make this one black. Dual axis. Synchronize. Oops. Yeah, so that gives us our median. Okay, the color should not be on year, so that I don't like that. But we could maybe do our highlighting again here. So this is month set onto color. No, I want to create a set based on year, not month. So let's create a set. Let's call this year set. We'll just pick one. And I'm going to duplicate. Oh, not what I want. Okay, let's pick some colors. Let's go with those. What was I looking at? Light watermelon. Okay. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to maybe pick 2023, and we can see how much lower the ice is for 2023. Yeah, so this is going to act like a highlighter. So let's do single value list. No, single value drop down. And you can pick a year from the list and it'll highlight. Okay. And then we want to label. Let's duplicate this. value for selected year. If year set, then that. Let's put that on label. Okay, so that looks good. And then this one we could also turn on, let's see, label index year. And then we want to put the median field onto label. Okay, so they're overlapping, which is a bit annoying. So this one I also need to change the label to be on the min-max of the day of year. There we go. And then we want to allow overlap. Allow overlap. So, but I'm not seeing both values for some reason. Okay. Okay, so let me just do it that way. All right, so this gives us the difference between the two. We could align them to the right and to the center. Okay, so let's set this to start at like minus 10. And let's say 390. I'm just trying to give the labels enough room here. Oh, I didn't set the labels correctly. Okay, there we go. And then this needs to be, okay, so that's just the value, so that's okay. Label, font, match mark color. And let's make them Tableau medium. Okay, and let's, all right. Okay, so now when they pick a different year, we can see how the different years compare. Or we could just make the story about 2023. So if I go back to the original visualization, we see 2023 is a lot less than the rest of the year. So this, each of these must be a year. Okay, so they're not actually putting the value on the end of the line. So let me change this and let me put this on label. Nope, don't want to do that. Value for selected year. Then let's make this the year. Okay, so now this label, this here for a second, you're on label. Okay, so now we got 2023. That's that year, and then these are all the other years. So what I could do on the label for this one is get rid of that. And then I could, what if I can put like measure names on here? No. Right. There we go. So something like that. Okay. Okay, thanks, Michael. Thanks for the feedback, Michael Reno. Still very few comments in the last few minutes, so it must just be so exciting. Right, so if I go, let me go back again to the original, and how did they do this? So they've got the year. Right, so this must mean, okay. What I don't get is how they're splitting it up like this. So that must be like day of year or something. Okay, so let's drag this onto the tooltip as an attribute. Okay, so now I've got the tooltip formatted. So that's good. I can now get rid of this in the tooltip. Get rid of that for the tooltip. Get rid of that for the tooltip. That for the tooltip. Okay. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to make this an even lighter gray because I want it to really fade to the background. So I think I need to go to, maybe it's this pencil. So that's the color I'm already at. Maybe I just need to make the lines a bit thinner. Okay, this is what I'll do. So I'll leave the colors like that, but I'm going to put the year set onto size and then reverse the sizes and then make the biggest one maybe smaller. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, let's hide this header. Yeah, it's still a bit annoying that I wonder if I can check that out. Okay, so tick marks. I want to start at 0, maybe 1, and go every. If that works. Not quite working. because I can't put the month here. So let me make that continuous. That I don't want. Let's see if I make this hour. Okay, so I'm going to do another make date. And I'm going to set the year to 1900 and the month to the month field, and the date to the day field. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, so then this should be, so this is million, 10 to the 6 is million square meters. Okay, so tooltip, hemisphere. Okay, so I think that's better. Let me check this again. Probably don't need this there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with that. So let's hide that. Let's hide the card. And we can maybe even go back to the original to get some wording of it. So daily. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so northern hemisphere. Can we assume that that is Arctic? Let's go back to our data source. If I go back here and I go to my data, okay, what does it say here? Arctic and okay, so it is Arctic and Antarctic. So instead of calling this northern and southern, I'm going to edit the aliases and I'm going to call this Arctic, Antarctic. So something like that. Okay. So then in this one, let's go tick marks fixed every 2 months. 3 months. Okay, whatever, good enough. Yeah, I just don't like how it has January on the end of the line. Edit axis. Oh no, should be. Not quite. Okay, should switch it back to automatic. Okay, good enough. Okay, so now let's stick this into a dashboard. So tooltips still look okay. Yeah, let's go back in here. Okay, so that's good. So let's go to our, I still really like this. Oh, maybe I should do that here. Let's go back. Where am I? I'm lost. Okay, this one. So for the median, let's make this a dashed line. Yeah. Okay, I like that. All right. And then I'm just going to kill this. Let's drag in sheet 1, 2. Let's call this and then I'm going to put my text box. Now, again, normally I float all this stuff in and do a lot of formatting on the dashboard, but I'm not going to worry about that since it's only one sheet. So let's see, data source is, what's the data source? National Snow and Ice Data Center. Okay, something like that. Should be data source with 2 words. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions before I finish up here? What do you think of the comparisons using the, let's delete the fun layout, using the kind of dotted line for that view? So let's make this. Maybe something like that. All right, and now let me do a bit of formatting. If you have any last questions, go ahead and bring those on. So let's get rid of the row dividers. And we could probably get rid of the column dividers. What does that look like? I think we need the column dividers. Yeah. Let's make them very light. And then let's format these headers. Let's make these darker, maybe a bit bigger. Okay, let's format this and make this a lighter color. Just to get rid of the lines there. And I think I'm going to call it quits there. All right. And it's a very simple chart. It doesn't tell a story, which is maybe something I should incorporate. So if I go back to the original. Oh. Let's see. I think I'm going to switch to make it much more like the original. Okay, I'm just going to take some inspiration from the original Viz here. So let's see. So 2023 is a and I guess I could get rid of this then. If I want to just rebuild. I do like the idea though of having it. Yeah. Can I change this to be a slider? So now you can see these along the way. Okay, great. So let me, okay, so what I'll do from here is just save this, publish it. And actually, I think what I will do is Yeah, I think that's okay. I think I'll leave it like this. Okay. Any other questions before I go? I don't see any. Hopefully you got something. If you could, I'm gonna save this and get it published. But while I'm doing that, if you could let me know in the comments what is the best thing that you learned in this session, or what is one thing that you can take away to help yourself, and leave me a comment about that while I go ahead and get this ready to publish. So again, let me know what you've learned today. Okay. Has anybody learned anything today? I don't see any comments. Nobody? Nobody learned anything today. That makes me kind of sad. Love the dotted line and how clean things are. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate that. We'll give that one a thumbs up. All right, so I'm going to call this Antarctic sea ice. All right, love my use of sets. Great, thanks, Hank. I use them a lot. I really, really like them, obviously. The red line helps the things stand out. Yep, great. Nobody on YouTube. So people on LinkedIn are significantly more chatty than those on YouTube. So kudos to you. Okay. Let me go ahead and give you another minute here. I'm going to save this and publish it up to Tableau Public. I learned that I have a lot more to learn about Tableau's capabilities, Michael. Very good, Michael. That's great. The more you learn about Tableau, the less you know about Tableau. That's kind of a good way to think about it. So every day I use it, I learn something new. So don't let this discourage you. There's so much to learn. Yaroslav Tomkala, really like the multiples, the small multiples. That's great. Hopefully you can take something away from that. And very inspirational. So you've been the best out there, namely you. Have to work hard to arrive at best results. Yeah, isn't interesting, Michael. This is a really from a data complexity point of view, it's actually really straightforward. And it's a pretty simple data set, right? You've got like a date and a number, yet it can be quite difficult to come up with something interesting. I mean, I built lots of different visuals here, but yeah, I mean, I ended up just basically rebuilding the original, which is kind of interesting that I did that. Yeah, so this will be the published version. I'll allow access so people can download it. And that is, I think, let's see, the view where each month has its own line chart. Never thought of that. The view where each month has its own, so I think, Athena, I believe you're talking about the cycle plot. So that would be, did I delete it? Hopefully I didn't. This one, I think this is the one you're talking about, Athena. Yeah, the one this is called a cycle plot. But yeah, they're really useful for seeing the trends for a particular month. So that might be another way that I could have looked at the data instead. I've always said when you make mistakes, you learn two things. Learn more about Tableau and learn interesting things about your data. That's very good. Yep. Thank you, Paul. Or Ross, sorry. Yes, that's correct. Okay, great, Athena. So yeah, Athena, give that a shot. See if you can redo it, and maybe you focus on the Antarctic data and maybe do something similar that I did, but spin it a slightly different way or visualize it a slightly different way to make 2023 stand out. So, for example, what we could do is on this view, let me just see if this is going to work. So 2023 value. So fixed on hemisphere, then we want to say median if year is equal to 2023. Then we want to get the value. So this is our extent, then end. So this is going to say for each hemisphere and month, we want to look at the latest year and just bring back the value. Okay, so let's try that. I'm going to bring that back onto detail. And then on my analytics pane, I'm going to drag on a reference line for the table for each pane. And I'm going to use my 2023 value. And none. Let's make that a dashed line as well. Okay. So that didn't quite work out because I would have expected, oh no, 2022. Oh, okay. So I need to make this the max for each month. So let's see. Max value, max year for each month. So this should be month if year equals, let's say, okay, I'm going to need to rewrite this. So I want to say something like, need to write this in my head. So fixed at the month level, we want to get the max here. Okay, so that's going to give us the latest year for the most recent year for each month. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to rearrange this a bit so it's a bit easier for me to read. So instead of this being 2023, I want to have my other LOD in there. So the way level of detail expressions work is they're inside out. So first, because this is inside of the other level of detail expression, it's going to first get the maximum year for each month, and then check each year against that. If it's true, return the value, and then compute that for each hemisphere and month. So yeah, so now we have a gray line for each one, and we could maybe format this line. So let's format. We could even maybe make this one a solid line if we wanted. No, let's leave it dashed. But maybe we make this one red or something to make it stand out a bit more that it's 2023. So we could edit this. Let's show our label as our value. No, we want the label to be the custom. Can we put the year in here? Field label. No. Computation. No. Okay, so we can't put the year label in there. Okay, so I'm just going to set it to none. But you could put something in the title that it represents, the most recent year or something like that. So let me edit this again and turn off our label. All right, so now this helps us see the gap between, we can see every, let's see, in every, maybe except for May, every red line, so the most recent year, has a significant difference to the average, to the median for each month. If that, I don't know, I'm really struggling to say these things correctly. So we have the median across all of the years for each month. The red line is comparing the most recent value for the most recent year to that line, and we can see there's always a big gap between them, meaning that in 2023 there's a lot less ice than the median of all the other years. So hopefully that helps. Okay, I'm going to call it quits there. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Sorry for the data being out a bit late. Sometimes family takes priority, but that's it. Have a great day.